Today we have Master Raw Food Chef Khepra Anu with us, who is going to prepare barbecue meat loaf. And we're going to talk about how easy it is to add raw food into your diet. How are you, Khepra?
Oh, I'm great. Thank you for having me. Today we're going to show how to make a barbecue meat loaf.
Okay.
So emphasis on meat, not meat. We're using nuts, seeds, things that nature provides us that we can substitute for the animals that people use. So a lot healthier. Again, you get all of the same benefits that you would get from these other sources, but nature has provided it for us.
Oh, good, good. So why is it important to add more raw food into our diets? Usually we cook our foods, we do a lot of fried foods, we boil our vegetables. So what's
well, that's the thing. I mean, anytime you're cooking or you have to cook a food in order to eat it, it's really telling you that you should not be eating that food. If you have to boil it, if you have to bake it, you have to nuke it via microwave, then this is a food that's not meant to be eaten. So again, a lot of our foods, especially our processed foods, they're usually boiled so that it's forcing water into whatever it is so that we can digest. So that really tells you that we really should be eating food that are mostly water-based, fruits and vegetables. Even our nuts and seeds have some water. So the thing is that we want to really eat. Yeah, it's nice to drink, 8, 10 glasses a day of water, but what about getting the water from our food? Our body works like a juice extractor.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, so when we're eating fresh vegetables, it's pulling juice out of the fiber, and then we pass the fiber along. So this is important. Most of our food should be like that because that's the way our body was designed to eat the food that we're supposed to eat. Pulling the juice, pulling the life. The life is in the water.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so if we want to live, we got to eat life-giving foods. And when things are coming, number one, with a life energy, you have the enzymes, which is very important. The enzymes are really allow for the food to really break down. Our body doesn't have to work as hard. Okay, so when you have the enzymes intact, again, these things allow for better processing and assimilation. So the thing is that the less our body has to work in order to break down the food, the more energy it can use to heal.
Interesting.
Okay, so
it makes sense also.
Yes, and that's why even going on particular juice fast, which is also another thing that's gaining popularity, you even increase the likelihood, you increase the healing that happens in your body. So because again, the body is getting essentially what it needs in a strictly liquid form. So now it has a bunch of energy. Digestion, the body uses the number one energy usage of the body is digestion. So when we really start looking at the human body, we start looking at diseases, we start looking at making it work efficiently, we have to look at the food that we eat. I mean, you are what you eat. We cannot get around that universal truth. So the thing is that, just about anything, I mean, certainly as we age, the potential to cure certain diseases is less. But long as we're still breathing and walking and talking, we have the opportunity to get better, to heal, and sometimes even completely reverse a condition.
Now you know why it's important to add more raw food, more live food into your diets. Okay, thank you, and I'm gonna let you do your magic. And I'll see you soon then.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. All right, so what we're gonna do today is, first I wanna talk about briefly the raw food kitchen. Again, if you're trying to make raw foods, again, most people think salad. So what we wanna do today is show you that we can really create something unique, that's filling, that is basically something that you can serve as an entree. Again, you know, salads are side dishes, but again, we want to bring a little bit more protein, a little bit more fat. These are the things that make up an entree dish. So the thing is that, again, we have our raw food ingredients here, and, you know, again, so what we want to do is, it would be quite boring to say, like, look, here's your dinner. You know, a bunch of vegetables. So what we want to do is basically show you how to use these things, combine them, and create something that's really unique, that's really tasty. And so let's proceed. In terms of our raw food kitchen, in order to make this sort of thing happen, you know, we have our major appliances. Most people have a blender, so at home. So here's our Vitamix here. The next appliance, which is probably our most important appliance, is our food processor. So I suggest, I like the Cuisinart model. This is basically it has some, this is what we call the S blade. You notice the S shape. And then we also have, we're going to utilize these things here. This is our slicer, and this is our grater. But what we want to do is basically, you know, this is a very important tool, because people say, the other thing people say about raw food is like, oh, it's so much to prepare. You know, I'm like, you know, I mean, even when I started, it was on a cutting board constantly. And the thing is that we really want to learn how to use these modern equipment to our benefit. It really cuts the time down in terms of our prep. Okay, and then over here, we have our dehydrator. And so our dehydrator is very important. Again, you know, this is the Excalibur, which I really like. And this is a 9 tray. So you see only 2 trays here, but what's important is that your dehydrator, regardless what brand, should have like a little fan, and it heats up and it gently blows it blows hot air. So it's convection like, because it's open. It's not completely closed like an oven per se. Okay. And the other thing is that usually most raw food chefs will do a complete dehydration. Okay. And what we want to do, a lot of times what we want to do, again, I talked about the importance of water, the importance of moisture, and we could do partial dehydration. So we're keeping some of the moisture, but we're concentrating some of the flavor. So it's a very important technique in terms of creating, you know, nice dishes that have that concentrate the flavors that we use. Okay. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right in to our dish. Now, here we have soaked almonds. The almonds have been soaked overnight, so usually 8 to 12 hours. So we're going to go ahead and put 2.5 cups into our food processor with the S blade. Okay, we add, let's see, that's about a dozen cloves of garlic. Okay. And so we're ready to start with this. Go ahead and, so we stop it here. Okay. So I like to use red onions. Red onions have, again, when you're looking at food, color is very important. So the darker the color or the pigment it shows that it has a higher level of nutritional value. Here we have curly parsley, fresh parsley, or flat parsley is also great. So we're going to cut this up. I'm going to stuff this right in there. Okay. The other thing we're going to add is our bell pepper. So here we have orange bell pepper. And the next thing we'll add a little salt. This is a pink sea salt. So probably a teaspoon of salt. And then we'll bring it together with our olive oil. So about a half a cup of olive oil. And you want to make sure you're definitely using your extra virgin olive oil. Okay. And we're going to process this, and we're going to add one more thing before it's ready to go. All right. So that's working. And then we're going to add some flavor. This is whole cumin seeds. So that was about 1/8 of a cup. And then we're going to add our shelled hemp seeds, or hemp hearts. So this gives us some more protein, some good omega oils. So about 1/2 cup of hemp seeds. Okay. So now here we have a balanced protein. And with our nuts, one of the important things to remember, nuts often get a bad rap because of the acidity, because of, people have nut allergies. The thing is that nuts are definitely one of our natural foods, our indigenous food for human beings, no doubt about that. And one of the things, what we've done here is basically we've added like lots of vegetables. So we brought lots of moisture, between the onion and the bell pepper, the parsley, especially the parsley. We added a whole bunch of parsley. So it's almost like a 1-to-1 ratio between the amount of nuts that we had and to the fresh alkaline vegetables. So it's really not only balancing the pH of the food, but you're also balancing the flavor, so which is very important. So, and then we're going to go ahead and grate some vegetables. We're going to use our slicing device here. And right ahead. That right in there. Okay. All right. So this brings some color. This brings some different textures, and we're going to mix this in, and then it's going to be ready to go into our dehydrator. Okay. Okay. So the second part of our recipe is we got to make a sauce, a barbecue sauce.
We're back with Khepra. So what's your book about?
Well, my book is just about what the subtitle, A Feasting and Fasting Guide. And basically, over the last, I'd say, 7 to 10 years, this has been a quest for me, a journey in terms of, first, my own experiences with fasting.
How our viewers can find out more information about this program?
Yes, you can visit my website, chefkhepra.com. On there, you will find I have my book available. I have DVDs available that show food preparation.
Oh, great.
I also have a YouTube channel. You can go and visit my YouTube channel. I have videos on there. That's youtube.com/Khepra, just my first name. And
Khepra.
Right, right.
Perfect.
And so from there, I mean, you pretty much can find, you find my shop. Again, we're open daily. So you
and that's where we can get this go raw or
Yes.
die. Great.
That's right.
That's how you will find him when you go to green festivals and raw festivals and health festivals, cutting coconuts and drinking and promoting coconuts. So I believe that he knows what he's talking about when he's talking about coconut water. Great. So what's next? Well, this has been here for what, like 30, 40 minutes?
Yeah, it's about 30 minutes.
Okay.
Again, as a minimum, you want to at least have it in there for probably about 45 minutes to an hour. Okay, so what we have to do now is complete the food portion of our recipe. And we're going to start, this is a basic sun-dried tomato. I call it a red sauce. So we're going to put about 3/4 of a cup of sun-dried tomato. We're talking at least a dozen cloves, probably 12 to 15 cloves of garlic. Okay, now we need to also add our green herbs. I mean, most of our recipes, again, are going to follow a formula. In my classes, I'll talk about formulas. I studied engineering in college, so I'm very scientific in my approach to everything. So with the food is no exception. And as you see, like in the first part of our recipe, and then even in the second part of our recipe, I like to touch on like how you balance a recipe. And of course, if you notice the components of a recipe, one thing to really simplify what I'm saying is you have 5 taste sensations: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and hot. And with this sauce, we're going to hit all of those. All right, so what's important really to create balance and to create flavor in our dishes is to use basically all of the taste sensations. So in my opinion, the most important taste sensation is hot. Again, it doesn't necessarily mean that burn your mouth hot, but hot foods bring flavor. All of our hot foods include garlic, they include onion, they include these foods and that give a lot of flavor to our dish. And specifically, our hot peppers are without exception. So here we have a Caribbean variety pepper, in the Caribbean they call these Scotch bonnet. So this is a smaller pepper, so we're gonna drop that right in whole. And then of course, like I said, we have our onion, we have our garlic, that's providing a lot of heat. We have our tomato, our sun-dried tomato is gonna give it like a chunkiness, which is critical. And then of course our salt, and our salt, as I mentioned, has the sun-dried tomato has the salt. So we don't need to add any additional salt. And then of course, what am I missing? The bitter. So our bitter comes from usually our green herbs. And for this sauce, again, we're trying to create like a barbecue kind of sauce, and we want a lot of punch, a lot of flavor. So we're going to use our traditional Italian herbs. So we have our fresh basil. And again, you want to use always, this is a raw food. This is about raw food. This is about fresh foods, fresh enzymes, fresh water, that nature was involved. If you have dry vegetables in your cupboard, just go and take those and dump them into your compost, because those things don't have any life, any energy, and really no flavor. So with our green herbs, we want to put probably about a dozen leaves of our fresh basil. Okay. And the same with our oregano. We want to strip the leaves. So we got a lot of oregano in there. And then of course, in order to bring some energy, help to bring it all together, we'll add a little olive oil. So we're going to add about a half a cup of olive oil to our sauce. Okay. This is going to give us some additional, this is our sweet bell pepper. And a quick note about bell peppers, you always want to go with red, orange, or yellow. Never use green bell peppers. These are fruits. Again, we want to get the seeds and everything in there. That's all edible. We don't want to waste any of nature's process. Again, these things have vitamins and minerals and things that we need. We have our tomatoes. We're going to add some fresh tomatoes. So we're going to add this whole container. And then last but not least, we're going to add our medjool dates. They've been pitted, and we're going to add, let's see, 5, 6, let's say 7 medjool dates. That's going to give, of course, some sweetness to our dish, to the sauce. It's going to also give it a chunky kind of texture that we want for our barbecue sauce. It's going to look really nice on our dish. Okay, so that is looking delicious. I can smell the aroma, the garlic, the onion, the herbs all in there. Now, our loaf has been sitting for a good 45 minutes. So we pull it out. And we can see that it doesn't take long for basically the vegetables to basically change up a little bit, to concentrate, to take a little moisture. Of course, not all of the moisture. It's not like dry and brittle like bread. But in here, and again, you know, you have a temperature. Most dehydrators, they range from 90 degrees, and they go all the way up to probably about 150, 155. And we want to be right in the middle of that. 120, 125, 135 is like ideal for most fruits and vegetables if you're in a dehydrator. Okay, so now we have our sauce, and what we're going to do is we can be quite generous with our sauce here. It's almost like another layer of meat. And once we put the sauce on there, we give it like probably another 15, 30, 15. Okay. So last but not least, I'm feeling very creative. We can put like a little garnish here. We got some parsley leaves. We can just drop some parsley on here to really just kind of accentuate the red. You got the red, you got the brown, of course. You got all this like excitement happening here. Okay, so we give this another, I'd say, 15 to 20 minutes. You're going to see a little change, color change. It's going to have like almost like a glaze, like almost like a roasted kind of appearance, and so it's gonna look beautiful.
We're back, and the barbecue meat loaf is ready. Smells so good, and we're gonna talk before we taste your food about your Khepra's raw food juice bar. Mm-hmm. So how long have you been managing your business, your juice bar?
It's been a year and 3 months.
Okay.
So, you know, we've gone through some tremendous growth. It's been very exciting. People in the community have taken well to it. So I just feel very enamored to be in a position to offer this kind of service.
Mm-hmm. Okay, one last question. Every time I go there, I got a little bit of everything because everything is good.
Right.
But I'm sure there is a recipe that is the one that is like your signature.
Yes.
Which one is that?
I would have to say the burger.
The burger?
Yeah, that's my signature. Again, another creation, another just, and over the years, that's the one I've been probably doing the longest. And yeah, definitely one of the most popular, if not the popular dish, yeah.
When you say burger, what's inside?
Well, we make the bread. We have a whole process where we sprout. We use buckwheat groats and we sprout them, and then we process them in a dehydrator overnight, and then we make the burger, which is actually very similar to this recipe. So you can kind of get a sense of what it looks like. It has all the colors, and using parsley and peppers and onions and everything. And then of course we have our sauces that we make from scratch as well. We do like sort of like a mayonnaise using cashews, and I call that a white sauce.
Oh yes,
so,
it's delicious.
So we have the red sauce and the white sauce.
Great.
And so that's one that that's definitely one of my signatures. Absolutely.
Okay, great. Now let's dig in and it's really good. It's really, really good. Well, thank you very much for coming to our show. I've been trying to schedule Khepra for over a year, but he's so busy, so finally he found the time to come to our show, so I really thank you. And once more time, if our viewers want more information from all the wonderful things that you do, your books, your DVDs, your lectures, what's the website again?
ChefKhepra.com. ChefKhepra.com.
Perfect. And for more information about this show, go to our website, www.healthyfoodhappyu. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye.